I have learned the hard way that I am simply not able to express my views about capitalism, or rather anti-capitalism, in public spaces, in good faith, without having total creative control. I cannot do this in platforms other than mine. We are simply not ready as a society for this to happen. And fact checks like this one, ones that lack economic integrity, that in no way represent the way that economists think or plan economies, will always show up. Misleading information like this is always there to delegitimize any movement towards a system outside of our own. This fact check to my claim tells us that 330 million Americans spend around $2.7 trillion on food annually. Therefore, surely the government couldn't manage to spend this much to feed everyone every year. That would be ridiculous. Yeah, that would be true if they actually needed the $2.7 trillion to feed everyone. But they don't. Let's begin with the fact that the average American eats 3,000 calories a day, give or take, way more than they should. And the $2.7 trillion we're talking about also includes people who eat Uber Eats every day, people who eat out every day, people who make $1 billion a year, and how they spend their money on food. Our policy strives to make reformative change to our current system, to ensure a baseline of necessity, a baseline of food guaranteed to everyone. Is all of that spending necessary to achieve that goal? Absolutely not. Conveniently, our fact check doesn't tell us that. We spend $400 to $500 billion on tax cuts for the 1% alone a year. We spend $820 billion on our military budget a year. To provide the average American 2,000 calories of food a day that is nutritious, that is filling, the USDA predicts it would take $6 per person. Not to mention the income we would get from the annual wealth tax I propose, that would earn us $200 to $300 billion a year. Yeah, one that I couldn't get to because the man I was speaking with was speaking over me, at me, rather than with me. The same guy who asked me who my favorite sociology professor was in the middle of a debate. I simply wasn't able to predict the kind of environment I was going to be in for this debate. I simply didn't know how much I would be interrupted and how so very skewed the debate would be towards the man I was debating, and not those of us who surrounded him. Patrick Bet David's strategy within this debate was simple and reoccurring. Interrupt, defame, and deflect. And he was able to get away with it because of the setting that we were at, and because no one likes a commie. They really don't. I wasn't prepared for this kind of debater because at least Candace Owens let me speak. At least Jordan Peterson let me speak. At least Cenk Uygur let me speak more than David did. All of those conversations were fruitful and important, but leftism is simply different, and now I have to be careful about when and how I speak about it. And that sucks.